Smith Henderson, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Un grand merci d'avoir accepté l'invitation de la Fringale Culturelle. C'est un grand plaisir de vous rencontrer. Vous êtes de passage à Paris, vous participez au festival America et vous proposez votre premier roman qui s'appelle Yaak Valley Montana aux éditions Belfond. Comment est née l'idée de ce roman?
It was originally two books. One was about a social worker, and I wanted to write about a guy who worked with children in at-risk situations because I'd worked at a group home for several years with those kids, and I had seen what kind of trouble they'd come from and the kinds of struggles they had. So I was really interested in writing about those kids, and then I got to know the social workers themselves who went in and did investigations, and then I realized that there might be a pretty interesting character who had that job. The second book I was working on at the same time was about a crazy kind of mountain man who's living off the grid and thinks the world is going to end and is ready to face whatever comes and fight to the end. And for a couple of years I was working on these two books at the same time, and at some point I realized they weren't going anywhere. They didn't have any conflict, and I thought, oh yeah, if you have the social worker and the guy from the mountains run into each other, maybe you might have a book. And so that's kind of how it happened.
Alors ça donne un livre, mais un gros livre. Et quand on le reçoit, on se dit « Oh mon Dieu, je vais encore lire. Comment je vais faire pour lire tout ça ?» Et finalement, c'est super bien beau. C'est travailler de votre part. On avale votre bouquin, de page en page, on a envie de tourner. J'ai même envie de dire que c'est un page turner, et pourtant, non, on est dans un roman social, où vous prenez le temps de raconter l'histoire, de décrypter les gens, leurs émotions, et pourtant, il y a ce côté page turner.
Yeah, the initial phase of writing the book was trying to get the world that the characters lived in, and that I knew growing up in. It's set where I was born. Was trying to get that world down on the page so that you really felt it as intimately as I felt it, and but I always knew that once you got into that world, I needed to make sure that you wanted to stay there, because it's pretty. The characters are pretty dark. The themes are pretty dark, and so I knew I needed to have a plot, a story that would draw you in and make you frightened, make you excited, make you hope, make you worried. So the plot became a major concern of mine as I developed the book.
On est dans une fiction et pourtant tout ce que vous nous racontez, c'est la réalité.
There were things that I found out in my research, the kinds of really painful things that young children in particular would go through that I couldn't write. They were almost pornographic in the literal sense, and so I had to actually pull back rather than embellish